Hello friends, and welcome to my first Berserker Vanguard tutorial video, and in this video I'll be watching a clip I posted earlier where I run through the Open the Valve section of the collector base, just so I can give you an idea of my thought process, explain how I approach a situation and why, and give you some general gameplay tips to help you out. These first two enemies are pretty simple, just charge in, shoot them both, and you're done. But as a general rule of thumb, if you get a spawn like this, two enemies close together, they can't threaten you with something like a shotgun, a rocket, or a biotic. It's best to keep your squad mates freed up for the next group and take care of it on your own. Here's where you want to start bringing your squad mates into the mix a little bit. And here I use Kasumi's improved flashbang grenade, which is, by the way, the best power in the game, to control a group of enemies. Then I take them out with the claymore. One thing to keep in mind, the collectors really like running away, so the faster you lock them down and kill them after they drop in, the better. Now we're making our way to the second and third valves, and we've got a spawn of 3 collectors coming up. They always spawn in relatively the same formation, with 2 in the back and 1 in the front, and one of them will always transform into Harbinger, so kill the ones you can, and be ready for them to drop in and assume control. And I have Thane throw out a warp on the back too to strip their barriers, and your squad mate's cryo ammo should freeze them so they don't interfere with you shoving the claymore in his face. Here he is, the man himself, about to get his ass beat. Once again, improved flashbang, best power, works great because it totally neutralizes him. He can't throw his fireballs at you, he can't throw his singularity at you, he can't do his AoE attack, but he can still follow you around and talk shit about you. While it's beneficial to have him alive and docile, since he can't inhabit anyone else, I just kill him because I could do without him following me around yelling "Stop, Shepherd!" at me every 2 seconds, so it's up to you. After you take care of that, you've still got some business to attend to, with more collectors spawning at the next switch. I don't charge them right away because it seems to fail a lot at this part until I'm in close. So I have Thane throw out a warp to give me some cover until I'm in far enough that it feels like it'll work. Normally I say never have all squad mates on cooldown, but that's more of a guideline than a rule. In a situation like this, that you already basically have contained, if you can do it safely, feel free. This coming part is probably the most difficult of the whole run. You've got a lot of collectors coming into relatively the same spot, and like I said, they love to run for cover right after they drop. And that might be a problem for other classes, but you can get right in there and start tearing shit up. And this is another part where Flashbang really shines, because not only does it disable targets, even protected ones, in a lot of different ways, it also has a huge impact radius, so anything within the vicinity and then some is going to feel the effects. Quick footnote on using squadmate powers: if you're on 360 and you want to use a squadmate power, you're going to have to choose between moving your thumb off the left or right thumbstick to get it down to the D-pad to use one. If you're on PC, you won't have this problem, so you can go to hell. I'm just kidding. But not really. I cringe every single time I see this part of the run. The warp that comes out right after I start up charge is supposed to be a flashbang, and that's pretty safe, because not only will you be charging someone, the grenade will overheat weapons and stagger anyone in the radius, making him that much less dangerous to you, and that much easier to kill, but instead, I threw out a warp, and I don't want to talk about it. Just try not to do it. Now we're getting to the end of the run. You can get a pretty good drop on the enemies here if you charge right before they touch down. One thing you'll notice me doing here is getting on the opposite side of Harbinger, away from the other enemies, and the reason I'm doing that is because enemies can't shoot through one another. So if you're using one to set a pick, you'll have a fairly effective means of cover, so to speak. This is also what I do with the first Geth Prime on Haestrom. I charge it, walk behind it, and move to position myself between it and the shock troopers. And one more Harbinger kill, just for good measure. We are limitless. Fuck you. And now we're at the end. I hope you enjoyed yourself and learned something new. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in my thread on the Bioware forums, and I'll help you to the best of my ability.